Hey everybody, this is Games Plus James and welcome back to our Endless Runner tutorial series where we're taking a look at making a nice little unlimited running game for our players to have fun in. So today we're going to take a look at creating some ground, because we need, if this is an Endless Runner game, we need our player to be able to run along forever. So what we're going to do to start off with, we're going to delete this ground because that was grey and boring. We don't want that. We want something interesting. So we're going to use the art as assets that we use for our player, and if you haven't got the file already, it's down below the video here, so you can go and grab it yourself. The link will be, and we go into our folder here, and much like we did for our player, we go into the sprite sheet folder. And last time we grabbed our sprite sheets players, actually we need to move to our art folder here, so we have that open. And this time we're going to go to sprite sheet ground, grab that, drag it in here. We'll wait for it to import for a second. Okay, now we've got it here, so we're going to click on this. We need to set it up. We're going to set the same settings that we used for our player sprite sheet, so 128 point, true color, all this fun stuff. So set our pixels per unit to 128, so that each block will be each, as you can see on the screen here, each one of these little blocks is like 1 meter kind of in the game. It's 1 unit, so 128 pixels will be 1 unit, and that just happens to be the exact width of each one of these blocks. So we're going to set that to 128. Filter mode will be point. Format is true color, and we want to make our sprite mode multiple, so that we're able to make multiple objects out of our sheet. I didn't mean to untick that. That doesn't really affect us too much anyway, but we'll leave it there. So we apply those changes and then go into our sprite editor here. And so last time out, we just, it'll open first there. We drew around our 3 guys here that we wanted to use for our animations and stuff, but we don't want to do that this time. If we go back to our sprites here, these are all the exact same size. So rather than going and manually drawing around a box of ones that we want, what we'll do is go to slice up here, and instead of automatic, we'll switch it to grid. And like I said, each one of these blocks is 128 by 128. So we're going to say 128 by 128, and then hit the slice button. And what that'll do is it'll go along and slice a block wherever in that region there's some art. So even if there's only like one tiny little bit in the middle, say here, it would draw a block 128 around it. But as there's nothing down in these areas here, it doesn't draw any blocks there. So we end up with all our blocks automatically generating their names. And what we want to do is, there's a few blocks that we're going to use in particular for the moment, which will be, if we zoom in here, we can see. So this guy here has the right edge kind of rounded, so that'll be the right edge of any platforms. This one has both edges solid, so that'll be the center, and this edge has the left side kind of rounded, so that'll be the left edge of any platforms. But because of the way Unity breaks up the sprite sheets automatically, it goes, so this one is 0, then this one here is 1, this one's 2, this one's 3, etc, etc. And these guys here is 0, 7 and 14, and those are the 3 that we want to keep in mind and keep using. We could go and rename them, but it's easier just to stick with the system that's got in place here. So we're going to apply these changes, and remember 0, 7 and 14. So once this applies, there we go, hit the little button beside again. So we're going to go here, so we've got 0, so we'll drag him, just pop him into the hierarchy there like that. Go down here and grab sprite sheet 7, so pop him in there like that, and then down here to 14, pop him in there just like that. So now we've got 3 pieces that are going to be used for our platforms. So let's arrange them into a nice looking platform. We're going to create a new object, create empty, and we'll call this we'll just call this platform for now. And then we'll highlight the 3Ds and drag them onto platform. And now you can see that their position is kind of off-centered, and the platform position, he's kind of randomly out here. If we switch this, the point is kind of there. That's not really what we want to do. So we're going to set him back to 0, 0, just like that. And we're going to highlight all these guys and set them to 0, 0 as well. So now we've got them all kind of lined up like that. But it just looks like a block. That's not used to us. So let's move some things around. So 0 was the one that had the right edge. So we're going to move him over to the right. If you hold hold control and then click on the arrow. We're going to click that and then it'll drag it in exactly 1 block increments. So it'll move exactly the right amount. If you don't hold control, you can slide it around and kind of adjust it like that. But if you hold control, it'll snap into position just the way we want it to. So we're going to move that over 3 over to there. Then we're going to grab 14 and we're going to grab him over 3 over to there. So now we've got a little bit of space in the middle. So we're going to grab the middle guy and we're going to hit Control and D to duplicate it and make an extra one. And then we're going to grab Control again and drag it over to 1 just like that. Then Control and D, pop it there like that. Control and D again, pop him over there. Control and D one more time. And there we go. Now we've got our platform nicely lined up here like this. So if we grab this platform, move it down here underneath the player. Obviously, if we hit play right now, all the player's going to do is just fall straight through the ground and disappear into infinity because there's no collision set up on this guy. So we're going to go here. We're going to add a component, box collider 2D. And you can see this little green box has been made, but it's only 1 by 1. It's not taking up the whole platform. So we want to make it a little bit longer. So we're going to say size 7 because we know we've got 7 elements here. And now that we know this platform is made of 7 blocks, we're going to rename this platform because in the future we're going to have different kinds of platforms. So this guy is just going to be platform 7 by 1 because it's 7 blocks wide and 1 block high. So now we've got a platform in place, and now if we'll just duplicate this guy again. So Control and D, and we'll grab one here and we'll move it over to there, say, and move it over here and move it over here. And you can see as soon as we start making extra platforms, it's kind of starting to fill up our hierarchy here, and it kind of looks a little bit messy. So to fix that, we're just going to create a new empty object, and we're going to call this platforms with a S at the end, and just control and click on all these guys and drag them into there. So now they kind of go in there and we can just collapse them out if we want to. And I'm actually on our player here, I'm just going to make him move a little bit faster because I find that he moves a bit slow. And if we hit play, now we can see, oh, our player isn't, we're doing some silly things here. So our player isn't recognizing these as ground because we haven't set them on their layer to be ground. So if we highlight all of them again and go to layer, just like we did in the first video, we set up the ground so the player is able to find the ground. Now we have to change all these to ground. So yes, we'll change the children, and if we run again, we should see the player actually animating this time. So now we can jump along. Oh, but we're all out of platforms. We've no more platforms left. That's no good to us at all. So we need to create more. We could just like make a whole lot of platforms and place them all the way along here, but that's not really an endless runner game. Then you're just making a big long level which is no use to anybody really. So if we go, actually just one little thing I noticed there that caught my attention that we might want to fix up first. If we play the character, or play the game and the character walk along, he falls to here and he gets stuck on the platform here. We can jump him up. He's stuck to the wall there like that. We don't really want our players sticking to walls. We want them to be able to slide down. And there's a very, very quick and simple fix to fix that up. So what we're going to do is go to our assets folder here, create a new folder, and we're going to call this materials, and then go into there and create, if we go down here, a physics 2D material, and we'll call this Slippy, because that's what it's going to be. It's going to be making our player Slippy. And basically a 2D material, it just has a certain amount of friction between 0 and 1. So 0 being no friction, 1 being you're going to be stuck here forever. And bounciness, so you can make things bounce up and down for your players if you want to. It's a handy little thing if you want to do that. But what we're going to do is set our friction to 0 and go to our player. And in the box collider here, we have a space for material. And you can see that by default, there's no physics material attached. But we just created a physics material, and we're going to drag him in there. And now, when our player moves and walks forward, if he hits the side, whoop, he just slides down and he's gone. No more player. Perfect. So now we need to go back, yes, to what we're actually doing. We're making more platforms. So like we said, we've only got a few platforms here. That's no use to us. We want to be able to make platforms disappear into infinity, as many as we want. And the way we're going to do that is by creating a new script. So if we go to our script folder, create a new C# script, and we're going to call this platform generator. And we're going to open this up in MonoDevelop. And basically how this is going to work is we'll just start off, before I go writing any script, we'll just set up some basic things that this is going to use. So what's going to happen is we're going to have platforms along here, and as the camera moves along, it's going to have an extra point attached to it that's going to move ahead, and when it reaches the end of a platform here, say, it's going to go, okay, we're running out of platforms, we need to generate some more ahead of us. So right now we'll just, on our main camera, if we right click on it, we go create empty, and we're going to call this platform generation point. And what I'm actually going to do is grab these two platforms here and just delete them. We're not going to use them anymore. We actually need to delete them like that. And our platform generation point, what we want to do is basically we're going to generate stuff ahead of us, and we want to make sure that this point is so far ahead that we can't see. So we're going to move it a little way ahead here like this. And basically what our script is going to do is say, okay, there's no platforms from the end of this one here to this point, so we need to fill in that gap with some more platforms. And it's actually relatively straightforward to do. It's pretty simple. So let's jump into it. So what we're going to need is a few variables here. We're going to need a public game object, and this game object is going to be the platform. So this is the platform that's going to be generated ahead of the player. And then we're going to need a public transform called generation point, and that generation point is going to be this point here. So this is going to be the point ahead of us where we need to know if we need to generate more platforms, basically. And we're going to need a distance between each platform. We don't want the platform just randomly, well, we do want them randomly spaced, but we'll deal with that in the future. But for now, we just want to sort out how far is the distance between our platforms. So we go public float distance between, and then we're going to do one more, which is going to be a private float, and this is going to be platform width. And we're going to need to know how wide our platform is, so that we don't accidentally spawn a new platform on top of a platform that already exists, because that's not going to present any challenge for our player at all if he can just walk constantly along and not run into any problems. That's no use to us. So in our start function, the first thing we're going to need to do is work out how wide our platform is. So we're going to say platform width is equal to the platform, which is the platform that will be generated, the platform dot get component. So we're going to get a component on it. We're going to get the box collider, which is the green box that we set up, which gives the platform its physical properties. And what we're going to say is, okay, the box collider, that's the whole size of the platform. So what we can do is say box collider dot size dot x. So that'll get us the length of the platform, or the width of the platform even. So that's perfect. So that's exactly what we need. Now we have our platform width all sorted out. Nice and painless. And actually, yeah, we'll pop back into the game to demonstrate that in action. So what we'll do is go in here and we're going to create a new object. Create empty. It's just compiling down here. It'll take a second. Here we go. There's our object. And we're going to call this, we'll call this platform generator. And we need to give it that script that we just created. Our platform generator script. Bam, just like that. And so this platform here, for example, is going to be we're just going to keep using the same platform for now. So this platform here is going to be the platform that we use. Our generation point, like I said, is going to be this one here. And our distance between, we'll set at, say, 3. That seems like a reasonable gap. Obviously, we're not going to have anything generating here at the moment. And what we want to do is go into debug mode so that we can see the platform width. And we should see, when we play the game, platform width should become 7. Hopefully, if everything's working okay. Oh, just pause that. I didn't realize it would go full screen. As you can see, yes, we got our platform width automatically works out that it's 7. So perfect. That's exactly what we want to happen. I'm just going to uncheck maximize on play there for the future. Okay, so then in our update loop, basically all we need to do is say, okay, our platform generator here, say it's here. Is our platform generator less than our platform generation point? And if it is, we're going to create a new platform right where our platform generator is. And then once a new platform has been created, actually no, not after it's been created. Before it's created, we're going to move the platform generator ahead just enough so that we're making a new platform, and then it's going to check again and see if it needs to create another one, basically. So we're actually going to move our platform generator back here to we want it to be at the center of the last platform that's already existing in the game. And the easy way to do that is to go, this is our last platform here. So if we grab our platform generator and make him a child of platform 7 by 1 bracket 1, what we can do if we put this back on normal mode, if we set that to 0 and that to 0, now he's in the dead center of this platform. So now if we drag him out again, just like that, we don't want him in the platform folder even, so we drag him up to the top level just like that. So now he's exactly dead center there. So what we're going to do is we have our width of our platform, which is this much, and it'll move him ahead that much, and then also the extra distance between it should. So then we'll get, when we make a new platform, which will be roughly about here, it'll create it right here, and it'll have a little distance between, which is our number 3 here. So the way that we're going to do that is say if transform dot position dot x. So if the x position of where this object is right now is less than the generation point, I don't know why it didn't let me auto generate that, but that's mono developed for you. It's got weird problems sometimes. Generation point dot position dot x. So if the position of where we are right now is more to the left than the generation point, which means that we need to create some new platforms. So we'll put some curly brackets here. So if that's true, then what we want to do is move our transform position ahead a little bit. So transform dot position is equal to new vector 3. As we covered before, vector 3 is just a value of 3 points in space, so an x, y, and a z value. So basically our x value we want to change, we want to move it a little further ahead. So we'll go transform dot position dot x plus our platform width and plus our distance between. And then we just want to keep the same y value, so transform dot position dot y, and the same z value, so transform dot position dot z. So close, we already closed the bracket, and put a nice little semicolon at the end. So now we've moved our platform ahead a little bit, and now that we have a new position in space, we know we're all cleared up. We're not overlapping anything else because we've moved the platform width, and we know we've added a little bit of space as well because we've moved the distance between. So now that we have all those in place, we can create a new platform. So we do instantiate instantiate. So what instantiate does is basically it creates a copy of an existing object. So our object that we're using is the platform, and it's basically just going to create a copy of that, and then we'll all be happy and satisfied in a new position, and work. It's going to work nicely for us. So instantiate, and what this takes is 3 values. So we need to, obviously we're going to create this platform, so we need to use the platform as the first value. Then we need to give it a position, and a position will be our transform.position, not with a capital T though. Thank you, MonoDevelop, for messing me up as usual. Transform.position. And finally, you need to give a rotation value, and our rotation is just going to be the same rotation as our transform as well, because we don't want to have any kind of strange and weird rotations going on with it. So transform.rotation, and again, that should be a small t, just like that. So close our bracket, semicolon to end it, and now if we hit Control and save, this is our script. This is all the code we need to generate unlimited platforms flying off into the future. So if you pop back in here now, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to pause it, and we'll hit play. So then it should just do 1 frame. So here we go. It created an extra platform, and it's going, okay, cool. This is our space in between. Where's our platform generation point? As you can see, that's ahead. So it's only gone through 1 update loop. And the platform generator is like, okay, there was nothing here, so I needed to create an extra one. But as we can see, our platform generator point here still isn't near our platform generation point. So if we knock it ahead 1 more frame, bam, it'll create some more. And then it's still not far enough, I don't think. No, it's still not far enough. So again, it'll create 1 extra one, and now it's gone past the generation point, so it'll say, okay, now we're gone past it, we don't need to create any more platforms. So if I knock it ahead 1 more again, no more platforms are created for a while. But what happens now is, because the platform generation point is a child of the main camera, as it goes forward, and once it reaches this point, then the platform generator will go, okay, I'm behind the generation point again, so now make another platform. So if we pop it ahead a little bit like this, once it goes past the middle point, our player is going to fall down and die as well. We don't worry about that. But as you can see, now it creates an extra thing. And another kind of handy way to demonstrate this, if we go back here, we set our player's speed to 0, and we hit play again. So we'll create a couple of platforms just ahead of us. Oh, if we can hit play, it'd be nice too. It'll create a couple of platforms just ahead of us. But if we just zoom it out here, if we grab our platform generation point, we can just go whoop, and it'll just start creating a whole load of platforms ahead of us. Just whoop. We can just drag it out, and look at that, it's just flying along, creating a whole load of platforms. But obviously, as you can see here, oh god, our whole thing is just filling up with these duplicate platforms, and that's not really any good for us. That's kind of going to create a whole load of memory problems if you're just creating a whole load of stuff. So what we're going to need is a way to destroy platforms as our player moves past them, because we've got a generation point that moves with the camera. So we could also do a destroy point that moves along behind the camera and destroys platforms when the player goes past them, and we no longer have any use for them. So in the next episode, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to create a destruction script that will go along and just kind of destroy everything behind the player that we don't need to worry about anytime soon. So we're going to do that, and then the following episodes we're going to take a look at randomizing this platform, so that it'll add a little bit of challenge. We can have different kinds of platforms, like move them up and down the screen, have them separated further and closer apart to mix things up and make it a little bit more interesting for our players. So yes, thanks for watching everybody. I'll be back soon with more endless runner tutorial goodness in the very near future. See you soon. Thanks for checking out this episode, and if you want even more Games Plus James goodness, make sure you hit those subscribe and like buttons. You can also find me on Twitter and Facebook by following the links on screen, where you can find out all the latest news about the channel. And if you want to help support the show, check out the Patreon page where you can get exclusive content in return for helping make the channel even better. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more.